This is the final tutorial where basically we're gonna do the last feature, which is add the possibility of add categories inside of categories, which is this part in here. So next, what we need to do in here in the categories, we want to add a new column, call it parent category ID, so then we can add categories inside of categories. So to do that, we need to go to our database structure. In the category table, we'll press the category table and we drop it inside of itself. So the system can add a parent category ID. Note this parent category ID, it is a null field. So currently we don't have any parent category IDs for the existing categories. So next we need to go to the logic, we need to go to the category service, and we need to do the table hidden methods, and we need to open the get table attributes method so we can add a new attribute called the parent category ID. So what we are doing now is simply changing the logic codes to have the new field, the new attribute called parent category ID. And initially we can hide the methods again, and now we open the insert and the update field so we can make the corresponding changes adding that specific attributes. So basically it's just the insert and update method and that other hidden method that we need to change. So in here in the insert method we need to add the annotation, a new annotation, so it means that we can have a new input in here, which will be parent category ID and we can simply copy the same thing there is in the category ID column. So parent category ID, and now we'll go to the code, but we could do what I'm doing in the code. We could do it in the diagram. I'll just do it from here because it's faster, and we'll search where it says here category ID. We'll just copy paste and we'll just replace this to parent category ID. Basically this converts a string into a numeric field, if any. We save, we do the same thing for the update method, where basically we add again a new annotation. Okay. This is correct. Now we can simply check these other methods in here. The insert and the update also. So I'll just go to the code to be faster, where in here what we want to do is to add the parent category ID and in the update the same thing. So everything that I'm doing in the code, we could have done this through the diagram also. I'm just doing through here because it's faster for me. So the logic part is done. Now we can go to the interface and we can open our categories page. Now in the categories page, let's select the main element and let's go to the properties, to in the dynamic tab. Let's scroll it down. This main element must be the main list group, and what we're gonna do, just add a new attribute called parent category ID to all the interfaces in here. So what the system will do is all these interfaces are in here, it will add the correct parent ID, as you can see here. So in this table we add the parent category ID into here, so we want to move this to the left. And don't forget to do the same thing to the corresponding column. So basically now we have the parent category ID as in the second column. Okay. Now in here, in the add category, we want to move the parent category ID to the top. And same thing in the edit pop-up. Okay, we want to get this select field and we want to move it in here, so we don't need this part here. And the same thing in the add pop-up. Okay, so now we can save. We can refresh this. And now we can see that we have here the parent category ID, where when we edit this to something else, it automatically updates, as you can see. So now the problem of doing this, something is missing here, which is, let's say that now I want to add something inside of the alcohol. I don't have any alcohol here. Or I don't have any alcohol here. So every time that I open these guys, I need to refresh that specific list. So how can we do that? So to do this, we need, in this drop down here, we need to give an ID. Let's call it add parent category combo box, and let's give an ID also to this one here in the edit form. And then what we need to do is, every time that we open this pop-up here, I want to load this combo box here, so I need to add a dependency in this pop-up. That will be this combo box here. Additionally, when I add something here, so when I click add, it will execute the add resource in here, and the add resource, then it will refresh the dependent widgets. So this means that in the dependent widgets, I want to add here another dependent widget, which will be the added parent category combo box. So every time that I add, it will refresh this combo box here, and every time that I open the pop-up, it refreshes this one. Additionally, this is already updating the widget list 1, which is this one here. However, we'll see a small problem that I'll show in a second, but for now let's just test the update of this combo box and this combo box here. So let's simply save this and let's preview. So if I add a new category, I'll see that if I click add, I see that I have the alcohol here, and I see that I have the alcohol here also. The same thing if I remove. However, I can see that I have here 1, so I should see beverage here instead of 1. So, but that was the problem that I was talking about before, but let's fix that later. So now let me just show you how this is working. So if I remove from here, it removes from here, and automatically it removes also from here. No, it's not removing from here. Why is that? Because so the widget list in here, we need to add a new dependence, which will be this combo box here. So in these lists in here, the element that loads, that have the load resource, I need to add a new dependency, which will be the edit parent combo box. So if I refresh and if I add a new one, I can see that it's here, alcohol is here. When I remove it from here, it's removed from here and it's removed from here also. If I add another one, if I click add and if I remove it from here, I can see that it's removed from here also and it's removed from here. So it is correct. So why every time that I write something, sometimes it appears one, some other times it appears the correct name, like beverages? Why does this happen? This is because when it reloads the dependent widgets, sometimes if it reloads the edit combo box, it refreshes the available values from here. But if this loads first, then it doesn't refresh, so it shows 1. That's why. So we need to do some changes in here, which will be on the display of this parent category. So in here, in this column here, on the display resource attribute, we need to call the display handler, needs to be this other handler, which will be load display field value if numeric. Basically what this does is, if the value it is numeric, it will load the resource again, it will load the available values again and then display the value according with that available values. So this is very useful, so we can force the field to load the available values. And here is an example. If a column in a list, if it's not showing the available values correctly, because meanwhile the available values change, and they change because we are removing or we are adding a new category, so then we can force it to load it again. So that's exactly what we want, which is this display here. Don't forget that here it is the availables vary, which is the get category ID options. This one, it is the same that is being used in this combo box and in this combo box here. It's the same. So let's refresh. And now when we add something here, it shows always the correct parent category. It's not showing the parent category ID, to show the correct name of that category. As you can see, it is working correctly. So basically what we did here was, in here we are changing the display handler. So then every time that we add something in this form here, automatically it will refresh all these combo boxes here. So the first part, it is done. We are basically create a parent category, so we can remove the ID from here also. So remove from that form and from the edit form. Okay, so we can simply remove it from here also. Okay. Okay, parent category. Okay. Now what we want to do is, let's say that we want to add something in here, alcohol, and then we remove this one. Doesn't let because it's a foreign key, which is correct. Of course, then we can work out in this message, so this message doesn't be like this, it be a much better messages. So what we can do is on the remove action, in the remove resource of this field, we can just set a much better, much more beautiful message. So in here, in this resource, we can put the on error callback. We can put a function to avoid that message and to show a different message. If this callback returns false, it will not show that ugly message, then it will show the message that you want to show. So what is next? So let's say that we have multiple different levels inside. So let's say inside of beer now I have names of beers, whatever, and inside of these I have Bohemia, plain, whatever. Let's say that I have this. This maybe gets a little bit confused when I am in the products, when I am here choosing the categories and I see all of these like this. So I can change this if I wish to, the way that this appears, or even in here in the categories when I'm editing. I should organize these like so I could see that what belongs to what. So in order to do that, so I can understand what belongs to what I could do, it will be something that, I could go to this resource, this specific resource here, and I could change the way that this is done. So basically in here, this resource here, the get category ID options. The problem is that in here, if I put this with categories inside of categories, this same resource is used to show this here. So get category ID options, and in here it's the same. Here is the same, get category ID option. So or I change this directly, this resource, so I go here to this specific resource, the get category options, and I edit the code from the server and I change the diagram. So basically this diagram is only calling this business logic, and inside of this, so this, it's this here, get all options, and in here this is where I'm doing the correspondent codes to show the associative list with the category ID as the key and the name as the value. So I could change this so we could have some spacing and order this by the correct orders, so I could see that the alcohol will appear after the beverages with some spacing, so it will show that it is inside, and the beer will appear inside after the alcohol with some spacing. Or I could do that directly from the codes. The problem is that if I do that from the code, then when I'm showing this part here, which is inside, which is also inside of this, it will show in here also. So what we can do is, or we have different resources, we have two different resources for doing this, and in here we show one resource and in here we show other resource. This is one way of doing things. Or I can do in here this through JavaScript. Let's do it let's simply do it from the codes. So let's go back to our code in here, and so let's have two different logics. So let's leave this one here, and what we want to do is, let's close this, and in here let's open this file in here, and let's just copy paste that specific method, which is the last one. Let's copy these methods and let's paste it here, and let's give it some name. Get all options, let's call it combo box, for combo box, and this one will be get all options for, let's put it for to view the attribute, whatever, read only field, it's fine. Okay, let's put it here to column combo box, and here it will be column, whatever. Okay, so what we want to do here in the combo box, we want to give some spaces, and in the column we want to give the prefix of the parent. So basically we have here the get all elements, and what we're gonna do is when we get the category ID, we want to see if first we have the parent category ID, if exists, if this exists, and if this exists, we want to get the name of this specific element. So t is already initialized before, so I can just use it t in here. And what I want to do here is put here parent item, and I want to have the parent name, which should be equal to this, and then additionally, if the parent item itself if it has another parent, also what we're gonna do is simply add a name. Let's do it like this. Let's add 3 dots in here. Name empty, and here we can do a break so you can get out from this loop, and in here the parent name will be parent name, something like this. So this is for, well, this is not for the combo box. As a matter of fact, this logic, it will be through here. It will be through here. Okay. For the combo box, what we'll need to do is we need to sort this first based in all, and this is where it gets tricky for the combo box. First we need to sort this for the elements that don't have any parents. So let's put here new results, and now what we want to do, we want to do this, yes, and want to do if the parent ID, if it is empty, if it doesn't exist, then we want to add new results first here. So new results equal to the item. So this is the first part. Then we want to loop for the results, for the new results. Now, as a matter of fact, we can do all of these in just one. So we can simply do, so we get the key, if it is empty, we get the key, we get the name, we get the key, we get the name, we put it in the options. And then for this one, I'll do another loop. Searching for the elements, for the categories that have the parent equal to this parent, so the child, so this will be the child's. So if the child's of a parent group, it will be the same than this one element, it means that it is a real child. And if it is, what I need to do is to put this here, but in here I'll put some spicy whatever. The problem is that this only does for 2 levels, and what we want to do, we want to have this in another function, in a recursive function. So let's create here another function, private function. Let's put organized categories. And in here we receive the items, the result. And we return some options. So we pass the result and we pass here a parent ID, which by default will be equal to 0. So what we need to do is, if this parent is equal, so 0 is, or it could be null. 0 is when we put 0 in PHP, it will be understanding as 0 or false or null. So this means that the first time that it enters in this function here, it will consider this as there is no parent category. And then after this, what we will do is in here I'll simply call this one here with the correct, with this parent ID here. So this needs to be a static method, so we can call it again from here. So in here we pass the result again, but we are passing a new parent category ID, and this will return another options. So switch options, and what we need to do is to do a merge between the options and the sub options. So we need to add a prefix in here. Also we need to add a prefix. Okay. So basically what we did is for the combo box we'll start for the categories that don't have any parents, and then for each of them we'll get all the childs for that specific parent. Well, we'll add a space in the name, so we need to add here the space in the name, the prefix of the name. Okay, and then for when it gets the parent, and then does the same thing for the it will get the results for this specific parent, and then for each individual ones we'll get the same thing. So this is not the parent, sorry, this is the category ID in here. It will get all the items where the parent ID is equal to the category ID. So now it is correct. So now what we need to do is to change in the we need to create two other methods to call these two these methods and this method here. So then in the utils, so we can do that in here. So let's open the categories page again, so I can show you what do we want to do. So in the resources, so we have this resource here which is calling this util in here, get all options. So what we want to do is to replicate this action here. Let's add an action where this will be ID options for combo box, and this will be call object methods. Options, but this is to what we don't want to call the get options anymore, because the get options it will basically be the same thing than this one. So what we want to do is we want to add a new method here which will be get all options combo box, and this method we will call simply the business logic, that other service that we just created, which was this one here. Okay, and we put this in a variable called categories, and then we simply return that variable. Very simple, something like this. Sorry, as a matter of fact, I didn't save. I need to save this first. Okay, something like this. Perfect. Okay, so this is saved. We can get out from here, and now we can choose the get all options combo box. Okay, which is in here. So this is one method, and let's do another action to do the same thing for the view. So this will be for the view. Call object methods. This will be get all options view. Then in here we do the same thing. It's column. Okay, it's not. It's a column, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. So categories, we save. We do the return. And it is correct. Here we just call it the view. If we want to, we can, yeah, it's fine, okay. So in here now, we want to change the methods to be a different method. Will not be these options, but in here will be the view. Or the column, whatever, so we can change this to column. And here will be the column. In the resource values, we need to change this to column also. Okay, here is done. And in here, in these combo boxes, we want to load the combo box. This is one, and this is the other one. Combo boxes. So we save, and let's preview our page. So we are having an issue, an error. Get all options. Let's see what's happening. So these methods, it is static. Let's see. Is missing here. We need to put here static methods, and we can change this. Gets all options combo box, so this can be bigger. Okay, apparently we cannot do that. Okay, let's see. For now, let's just make it static for now. Okay, it's fine. Okay, we just leave it like this, and we do the same thing for the column. This is not view. I put it here view. I put it, okay. Static. Okay. And here, can I make it column like this? Okay, now it worked fine. Okay, so now I can put here column. The methods. Okay, perfect. Okay, if I want to change the name, I can change the name. The problem was that it's not case sensitive, so I need to change to something else first, and then I need to put here the name, and now I need to go here, and now I can do like this column. I can see that is already the correct name, and I can do the same thing for here. Get all options combo box. Now it is correct with the correct syntax. Okay. So I can simply save, refresh. Let's see what do we have here wrong. Okay, it's missing something here in both of these fields. Yes, it is correct. So arguments. We need a variable called EVC. We need this. This is very important because we are calling this variable here. So we need to pass this variable in here. This is for the combo box, and we need to do the same thing in here in this column. So we need to add a new argument called EVC. So in here we need to put it the EVC in here, and in here also the same thing. So when we refresh, let's see something else. Okay, so now this is the organized category. So let's go to the methods. And this method here is not organized. I need to put the self. That's what was missing. Now it's working already, okay. So we can close all these pop-ups and collapse this field. Okay, so now this is done. We don't need to save this, nothing to save, okay. So now we can see that the how call belongs to the beverages, beer to the beverages. No, this is not correct. Let's check the logic, but then let's see in here. And this is not correct also. So let's see why is that. So you can see this combo box loads this resource, the underscore combo box, the same thing then that this combo box here, and the column loads the underscore column resource, which is this last resource here. Where basically calls these methods. Where this method calls this method get all options column, and in here we can see the codes, and the reason why is only showing the beverages for all of them. It's because this logic here, it's only adding the prefix for the first category ID. So this is the first category ID. So this was a rookie mistake. So it's missing here the comparison. So we just want this to add the prefix with the parent ID. If the parent ID, if it is the same, then the category ID of these other elements here, these other categories. So if we save this and if we refresh, additional in here, we just want this to be always executed. We want this to be executed only when this resource it is called, and we can do the same thing in here. only if the resource is getting called. Okay, so we can save this, and as soon as we refresh the page, we can see that now shows the correct parent categories, as we can see here, according with the logic that we created. Now the second problem is this combo box that is not showing the prefix and is not showing the correct order. So let's open the correct resource, the combo box, which is this one here, where this one calls the get all options combo box, which then calls this method here, get all options combo box, and this method calls the organized categories. So I'll just press Control key so you can open these organized categories in the new tab. And we changed some logic code here. We could do the changes through in here the diagram. What I'm gonna do, I'll do it from the code just to be faster. First of all, instead of adding spaces, since this is ignoring the spaces, let's add some dots or some dashes. It is fine. And let's refresh so we can see that now it's adding the prefix. Additionally, why is not putting in the right order? So the reason why it's because this service returns an array, a list called options, where the keys are the categories IDs. The categories IDs are numeric fields. So although this will be an associative array with numeric values, when the client, the browser, receives that request, that JSON response, it will parse that JSON response and it will interpret that list not as associative array but as a numeric array, where it will sort that specific numeric values, numeric keys, as numeric keys, as a numeric array. So that's the problem. So that's why this is showing in a wrong order. So what we need to do here is to trick the system and basically to add some prefix so it doesn't interpret this as a numeric list but as a alphabetical, as an associative list. So if we save this and now if we refresh, I can see that now it appears with the correct order. Although the problem is that if we inspect this combo box here, I can see that now the prefix have underscore. So if I try to add something here, it gives an error because the parent category is not a valid number. So what we need to do, we need to change these values to real numeric keys. So what we need to do is when this combo box loads that specific resource, we need then to call a JavaScript function to change all of these values. So let's go back to our Bloxtor, and what we need to do is in each combo box, the onComplete load callback, what I want to do is to create a JavaScript function. Let's call it fixIDs and let's put here the name in here and in this combo box here, and then let's create the correspondent JavaScript in here. Where basically these elements, what we want to do, we want to get all the options, so I want to get all the options elements, and then we want to look for that options, and then we want to get the attribute value for each of that options. So then we can replace then the underscore by empty. So we want to do replace here, so we want to replace the underscore by empty string, and now we want to set the new attribute. So when we refresh this, we don't have any errors, and when I call this pop-up, I can see that now it replaces with the correct numeric field. So if I add something here, I can see that it adds correctly with the correct parent category ID. So this is just an example. So what we did was basically for the display we create a new resource to display here, where basically it calls the display resource. Sorry, it calls the resource underscore column, which is this one here. For the combo box we create another resource called the combo box underscore combo box underscore combo box, which is this one here, that corresponds to this one and to this one methods, where the combo box it will add the prefix with the dots. It will sort to first the parent categories and then the other subcategories with the prefix with dots, and then we needed to change the numeric keys we have with the prefix underscore, so then we needed to remove that prefix through JavaScript. And for the column, what we did was simply to add the prefix of the parent category. That's what we have done. If there is more than one parent category, it will simply add 3 dots. So as you can see, what we currently have here is categories that can have other categories inside, and when we select a category we can see this user-friendly way to see categories. If we wanted, what we needed to do in the products will be something similar. So in here we needed to change the resource to be to the column, and in here we needed to change the resource to be with the combo box, so this could be inside of each field. So the same thing that we did in here. So if we open the products table, the products page, if we go here we can change this resource. Instead of being the resource get categories, so you can see better in here, get category ID options, which is this one here. We needed basically to add two new actions basically, where both will be call object methods, where this will be the column. This will only be executed when the resource is equal to its name, and this will be the combo box. Where in here now we can call the correspondent object methods. In here is the column, and in here it will be the combo box. And then in here we can refresh and get the column, and in here in this category we can move this category here, we can change this to combo box, and then we need to do the same with the fix IDs. Where in here on completes fix IDs we need to do this part of the codes, and in here that's something fix IDs. And when I save, now when I refresh the products, I can see that I have my categories IDs correctly in here. As you can see, beverages, which is correct. Category ID is fruit, so it is correct. Something is active cannot be null. Okay, it's missing here the is active. When we add, we need to, so in this pop-up here, as a matter of fact, when we, this is some error that we are having. This is because if the is active is not set, so it's in here, the product service, in the insert method. This is what is wrong. So this active can be null, so but if it is null, so it is active. If it's not is set, or if it is a string, or is null. Now what we want to put here is equal to 1. That's what's missing here. So now if we add something here, it adds now correctly. And we need to do the same thing for the update. So it is working fine, as you can see in here. Now what's missing is the categories in part. So the categories, let's see why this is not working. So in the category ID, okay, yes, because we forgot something. So we need to change, we changed here to the columns, but in the display resource attribute, we didn't change it, so we need to change it also here. That's why. Here it is. So Bohemia, if I change this to plain, we change this to the plain. If I change this to vegetables, we change this to vegetables. So as you can see, it is working fine. So this is one way of doing the things. If let's say that we would like to change this interface to have something like an hierarchy menu, so I can add categories and subcategories, but in a tree interface. How could I do that? So one way of doing that will be, we have some video that explains that. So if you go to our video tutorials, you search for complex structures, and if you scroll down, you have here create a page showing redundant database structure recursively, and create a page to edit redundant database structures recursive. So basically this video explains how to create pages to edit records from a database table to connect it to itself. So basically this teaches how to create that interface that I was telling you about. So you can see these two videos here that will help you how to create that interface. And that's it. Like this we finish our tutorial how to create a complete stock manager product. So thank you very much.